Hi guys, well today I wanted to show you my grafting on one apple tree and what I recently grafted, and also a couple of grafts from last year. So this is a Fuji apple that I air layered a few years ago, and I planted it here, and I am not quite sure this is the best location. I mean, the location is beautiful for the tree, but it's kind of on the way. I was planning to shape it one way, and then I couldn't because of how things are around it. So I'm not sure if it's gonna stay here, but for now, it's gotten, because it's kind of in the garden. I had beans here on this, I'm gonna call it a trellis, and I think the beans bent its top. They were heavy, so last year the very top of the tree started to kind of get dry. So I'm gonna try to save it. I put the ceiling here. I had to cut this top, so I was gonna shape it in a different way, but now I have to rethink everything if it gets saved at all, because this is a pretty big cut here, and the shape is just not the greatest. However, I've been grafting on it. I started grafting, so last year I grafted a couple of grafts, and this year I also grafted some new ones just a couple of days ago. So this is normally how I graft in spring, when the weather is still pretty decent and nice. As you probably know, this is March 26th today, 2026, and the weather has been crazy hot. I think it's about 15 degrees on average higher than it normally is at this time of the year. So I did not cover my grafts all the way to the end. If it's a little colder, I do that, which you will see here. So this is from last year, and I just wanted to show you. I started unwrapping this because it's time to unwrap, but this graft basically took pretty nicely, and it started flowering a few weeks ago, and look, it has little apples. So this year I am not going to let these apples actually grow, because it would be very heavy and it may break the graft. So we're gonna, both grafts took, let's see the other one. This is the other one, and we're gonna try to unwrap both of them today. But the same thing, it has little apples, which means it's an early variety, which is why we already have little apples, as you can see here. But as I said, it's just too much for this little tiny branch, so I'm gonna remove the little apples this year. All I care about is that the graft took. So I'm filming this with one hand, and I hope we can do this. I tried to start this. It was tightly wrapped, and because I'm filming with one hand, I wanted to be able to just do this with one hand. So let's see how it healed. And the point of all of this is really just to show you guys that you can do this yourself. You can graft like different varieties. So what I personally want to do and like to do is basically have different varieties for apples. Some of them are early, some of them are kind of like mid-season, others are late, some store better, some have better taste. So let's see this. Well, that is not bad. Yeah, that's decently healed, and I think I'm gonna call it a success. Oh, I tied it here, so I'm gonna have to do this later with both hands. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and remove. It breaks my heart, but this needs to be removed so the graft could be stronger, and yeah, just basically grow and get stronger this year, and then next year we're gonna enjoy some apples from it. So yes, we're gonna call it a success. And by the way, this year I grafted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different varieties on this little tree, and we'll see if they're gonna take. But we can't blame him for not trying, right? So let's do the same with this one and see if we can see the graft. So I'm gonna, just because it's really pretty, isn't it? Look at that. But I'm gonna remove it because that's these are little apples. Look at them, how gorgeous they are. So I'm gonna remove them, the same as last as that previous one. We just want to see how the wound has healed, and basically if I didn't, okay, here. So as you can see, I wrapped the whole graft. I did graft this later in the year. I was really testing, and so it was colder. It was in fall, which is when you shouldn't do it, really. But I did it just to test, and I'm really happy that it took. The reason why I grafted it at that time is because I found this particular variety, the grafts for it at that time, so I decided I'm just gonna do it. And it's I don't know that I put them in the best location on this apple tree, but we'll see. So we see here how beautifully it healed. I'm not going to be able to access it from the other side at this point, but it's healing beautifully, and you can see it starting this shoot from here, and then it started these other 2 shoots. So again, I'm gonna remove all the little apples, and I'm gonna remove this dry part. So the dry part is basically just sitting there, but I'm gonna be very, very careful when I remove that. As a matter of fact, I may not remove it now. I'm gonna wait just a little bit, so we do one shock at a time. And because I just unwrapped it, it's gonna have to adjust. So maybe a little bit later I'm gonna come back and remove this dry part, and then we're gonna leave this free of fruit this year. And next year I'm hoping to give you an update to maybe we're gonna taste the apples together. But I wanted to show you but also what I've done here with this tree. So I air layered one variety of this tree, and it had two different, maybe from this side is better. I air layered basically for the rootstock, and then it had two different branches here. I air layered both of them, and both of them took, and you can see right here where I grafted it, right there. And so both of them took, but as they started growing, this branch, which is cut off, as you can see, it's kind of started bending this one, and I realized I needed to choose one of them. I chose this one. So hopefully, I don't know if I made the correct choice. This, I do not know. We originally purchased this tree from we have another big tree in the back, apple tree, that was multi-grafted, and we purchased it from a very reputable nursery. However, it's got these, I'm not sure what it is, but both of them have this. I'm assuming it's some kind of disease, so I don't know how long these apples will last, but the first one we've had that's in the back, we've had it for about 7-8 years. It's giving, but again, we'll see how long they last. Well, guys, I'm hoping, and as a bonus, you can see these beautiful nasturtiums here. This is just to invite you guys and encourage you, hopefully, to grow your own food, to just start experimenting with your garden. If you have room, just go ahead and experiment. Just go for it. Thanks for watching.